Hey,
I'm
hello
so
everyone.
excited. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is Aisha Bash. I'm cloud developer advocate at Microsoft, and today I'm joined by Bruno. Hi, Bruno.
Hey, guys, hello everyone. Yes, I'm Bruno. I'm also cloud advocate at Microsoft, and hey, super happy to be here because I think we are kicking out this series. We are also going to talk about AI and Gen AI, and hey, I'm super excited.
Yeah, me too. This is going to be Generative AI Level Up Tuesday. So there will be multiple sessions, and this is the very first one. So thanks for kicking the series off together with us. And we have a full packed agenda for you today. We can start and jump right in.
Okay, let me share your screen. There it is. Oh,
Okay,
once
thank
again,
you.
here we are.
Okay, here we are again, and I will move right away because we have a lot to talk about today. So, a couple of things I want to highlight before we jump right in. So, we will kick things off with talking about generative AI in today's world and how we can leverage generative AI in Azure. And after that, Bruno will briefly talk about how models, large language models, work behind the scene. We have amazing demos for you today. We will show you how we can actually leverage Azure AI Foundry too. And finally, we will show you what is next and what we're expecting to be next in generative AI world. And we will close out this Tuesday's session with all these amazing demos and the information. Okay, so let me kick things off with a statement and very clear statement that captures the essence of our discussion today. Every app will be reinvented with AI. Generative AI is already in the forefront of this revolution, as you all know. And unlike traditional AI, now generative AI creates a new content, brand new content. So this could be anything from human-like text, creating images, composing music, as you all are aware and already using in your day-to-day life. So um, let's have a look quickly how generative AI is not just a concept of the future, but it's already making a significant impact. This slide basically illustrates how quickly generative AI has been adopted compared to all of the other revolutionary technologies. So it definitely has a special place in our community, in our world. So looking at Microsoft's AI journey, it hasn't been a short journey for sure. So, Microsoft has started in 1991 with Microsoft Research Establishment. And then, late 90s, all of us know the works behind the scene. Clippy and how it comes into our scene, and it was all really excited for us. Then we have Xbox Kinect. If you all remember, we used to work with the Kinect sensors as well. Cloud computing, Cortana took a lot of space in our Windows and day-to-day life too. And finally, moving forward, coming to today, we launched Copilot in 2023, which was the biggest announcement of that year, and we continue improving, and we continue adding new stuff in our services. So today specifically, we have a bunch of exciting demos to show you how actually generative AI is used and how it is capable to build really exciting stuff, not just like building, let's say, basic APIs or leveraging AI in the apps, but something out of the edge and something more of a out of the box. So we have three demos to show you what AI is capable to do today. And then we will jump right into how generative AI works in Azure. And then we will talk briefly about the models and LLMs and how we can leverage them in Azure AI Foundry. So I have a bunch of demos created for you just to be on the safe side. I've recorded these demos, but you can build them. These services are all available in the Azure Speech Studio. So if you go ahead, you can basically create all of these by yourself today too. So the first demo I have is actually text to speech avatar. So the text-to-speech avatar, you can basically find it in the Speech Studio in Azure AI. If you scroll down, you will find the text-to-speech avatar right at the bottom. You can basically choose your own avatar. Here in the demo, I choose Lori. And then you can basically put any text you want Lori to say, and you can also choose the voice options you want. We have a bunch of different options. And finally, when you hit preview video, then we will be able to view the video and get the results.
I'm Lauren. Welcome to the Microsoft AI Tour. It's a pleasure meeting you all here.
So this is pretty awesome. We can also insert some gestures. If you want to add some thanks, please hand gestures, you can add them too. And also you can change the languages if you want to test another language, and I can only confirm Turkish here. Um, by just changing the text to Turkish and hit preview video, you should be able to get the same video in different languages. So in that case, voice is Emel, and if we test this out.
Merhaba, ben Lori. Microsoft Yapay Zeka turuna hoş geldiniz. Hepinizle burada tanışmak çok güzel.
So you can see the result right away here. If you scroll down, you will see that you can test the sample using Python. We already have sample code available here. And if you scroll down, you can access to all of your resources and services. So this is step one, Speech Studio. But I also want to show you two other services that we have available in the Speech Studio. So the second one we will see today is the live chat avatar. Let me start this one too. If you go to live chat avatar, you can try the sample or you can try on your own. So here, if you just set up your settings, you should be able to choose the language you want, the voice you want, and then you can define your avatar's behavior as well. So here we will choose language English. We can make this multi-language and we can choose the avatar we want. So we can also choose the response style simple, and it will give us some prompt suggestions. And finally, we can test this out by basically hitting the microphone and speaking. Let's make this to multi-language, and then you can choose the languages you prefer. I can only test Turkish in additional, so I'll choose Turkish too. And here we can define some of the behavior we want. We say that your voice assistant, Lori, who helps people learn more about Microsoft AI Tour. So we can ask questions about the AI Tour. So I'm gonna save the changes and let the testing begin. What is the Microsoft AI Tour?
The Microsoft AI Tour showcases Microsoft's advancements in AI, offering education, demonstrations, and networking to help professionals and enthusiasts.
When does AI Tour happen?
The Microsoft AI Tour occurs annually, with specific dates varying each year. Visit the official website for the latest schedule and event details.
What is the benefit of joining the AI Tour?
Attendees gain insights into AI advancements, practical applications, networking opportunities, hands-on experiences, and expert knowledge to leverage.
All right, so and moving on to my favorite demo. I don't know, Bruno, which one is your favorite, but video translation is definitely my favorite.
I like the speech translation because I am using this one. You are going to show the demo now, and I can tell later how we are currently using this, and it's very, very good. So, hey, all yours.
It's pretty cool. So this is a speeded video as well, just to make sure that we don't take too much time when uploading the project. But let me run this and show you as well. So when we create a project with video translation, we can actually choose personal voice, and we can upload any video we want. I pre-recorded a video for you all, and we define a project name, number of speaker, language of the video, and the translation. So as you all know, I don't speak Spanish, but some of you may confirm if it is a good Spanish or bad. You can see from the translation. Once we upload this, it might take a couple of minutes to upload the video and create the video translation. So in that case, what we are expecting here is to have full fetch me speaking in Mexican Spanish. So that would never happen in the real world, but we will see if it would really happen in the demo sake using video translation. So yeah, go ahead, Bruno.
No. That while this is processing, and this is super cool because just in case, what this is going to do is going to pick up the voice of the video and is going to generate the new voice in a new language using the original voice. This is a feature that we have that is called personal voice that basically allows to upload any video, and then you have that video enabled to basically ready to be speaking in the different language with that voice. This is not you training a voice or using one of the pre-configured voice. The speaker of the video will have that.
Yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry. It started again, but I can quickly move further and show you what it actually does. Okay, so the original of the video is in English. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AI Tour. It's an absolute pleasure having you all here with us today as we start an amazing journey into the world of generative AI. Whether you're a developer exploring new ideas or just curious about AI, there is something here for you. So get ready for an inspiring experience, and welcome to the Microsoft AI Tour, where the future starts now. And we check the translated version. Hola a todos y bienvenidos al Tour de IA. Es un placer absoluto tenerlos a todos aquí con nosotros hoy, mientras comenzamos un viaje increíble hacia el mundo de la IA generativa. Tanto si eres un desarrollador explorando nuevas ideas como si solo tienes curiosidad sobre la IA, aquí hay algo para ti. Prepárate para una experiencia inspiradora y bienvenido al Tour de IA de Microsoft, donde el futuro comienza ahora. Okay, now Bruno, tell me if it is a good Spanish or not.
It's very good. I mean, I speak Spanish, yo hablo español, and it's very, very good. And yes, I know some of you are going to say that, how about the lip? How about the lip syncing? Because this only translates this. So I am going to do a sneak peek super fast here.
Yeah.
In the latest version, this is a video that I created and translate to Portuguese. Okay, this is a set of crappy demos and tests that I have. But if I want to pick up one of the versions and I want to translate this in example to the first one, Saudi Arabia Arabic here, we have this new feature here that is going to also fix, or it's going to do the best to fix the lip sync. And you need to be very, very deep, very detailed. You are going to, okay, this is not real, but it's very, very good. So, hey, as I said, this is amazing to create these videos and using the original video to share this. In example, for a set of promotional videos that we have for Reactor series and more, what we are doing when I record the video in English or Spanish, my two languages, in this voice, then if, I don't know, someone from the Reactor ask me, can we have a Portuguese version of this? I shared one of these and they didn't even know that I didn't know I don't speak Portuguese, but it was good enough. So, hey, there are a lot of use cases. I'm happy to share more use cases if someone wants in the chat.
Yeah, with the lip sync, I think it would be hard to identify if it was really yours or not, because voice is exactly the personal voice of the speaker. So it's hard to understand if they're really speaking themselves or if it is video translation. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there are many use cases for this service. So we definitely want you to check out if you have the access to the personal voice service too. I think that would be awesome to have a look too. Okay, so moving on to generative AI in Azure. So as you all know, we have many AI services available in Azure, and the translation, text-to-speech, avatar, etc. All of these services we've just shown is a part of Microsoft Azure AI services too. So And let's have a closer look what we actually have. If we break down into categories, we have services available under Azure AI as Azure AI services, which are pre-trained services, meaning that if you're a developer looking for more of a API service where you want vision, speech, or any of the, let's say, models, pre-trained models, then you can bring them directly into your app and leverage generative AI. If you're a developer, or if you're a scientist that who wants to build their own model from scratch and train and prepare all of the steps from scratch, then Azure Machine Learning is here for AI models, for designing, managing. It has all the toolings available for you to build your own AI models. We also have a bunch of tools for responsible AI. So this is pretty important as well. Responsible AI tooling is part of Azure AI. And finally, to basically summarize it all, we have Azure AI Foundry. This is the place, this is the platform where we use to develop, deploy all of the custom agents. So this is a place where we actually test out the models we have, bring everything together, and create end-to-end solution. So we will dive a little deeper in the AI Foundry, but to generally have a look, this is the platform where we have all of the APIs and model choices available. The model catalog we have is really huge, so you can test out different models out there by just going into the AI Foundry. This is a single space to go ahead and check out for all of your needs. So we have complete AI toolchain, responsible AI tools, enterprise grade, production ready environment. So when either you're looking for testing the models, building a POC, or you're looking for a production ready app using the generative AI, then AI Foundry is definitely going to be the platform for you. Okay, so this wouldn't be a session without talking about the Copilot stack. As we all know that Copilot, today we have two sections when it comes to Copilot stack. We have Microsoft Copilot, where we use Microsoft Copilot's own orchestration and AI behind the scene. Or if you want to, you can build your own agent apps by using custom orchestration, custom models. You can choose your foundation models. You can bring your own data, build your AI infrastructure. To do that, we actually combine Azure AI Foundry, and we use the solutions available in the Visual Studio toolset or Copilot Studio. And we also have GitHub available for us to build everything end to end. So in today's session, particularly specifically, we will focus on your agent, custom agent side of things, where we work with our own AI models. We design our own agent from scratch instead of using something out of the box. So to move forward with how language models work, I will hand over to Bruno so we can learn more how we can actually leverage language models in our apps.
Yes. So, hey, first of all, because before we move forward, I want to tackle a couple of super quick questions that we have here. And this is close to me because I'm a C# developer. I mean, I have 50-50 with Python and C and other. But yes, we can use C# to consume this. All of our SDKs are supporting JavaScript, Java, Python, C#, and more. So take a look at everything that we have here. It's usually cover the top 4 languages and more. There is another question here that is super cool also to have, is that, and we are going to cover this while we are talking, is what is responsible AI tooling? So responsible AI for us is a set of principles that we have where every time that we do some, not AI, but every time that we do an application or a solution or something, we have these principles. I never remember those is very bad, but we talk about fairness, we talk about transparency and more. So in order to promote this, we have best practices, that this is what we learn when we are working with clients or internally, and we share with everyone, but we also have tools, and we are going to see a couple of them. So the tooling part is an example. If we have a model and we want to apply filters to the behavior of the model when we are using that model, that's custom filters. And there are other tools, but this is the tooling part. It's basically how we can provide these frameworks or tool to support our principles in responsible AI. That said, let me hide this and move forward. It's super important, and I think this is one of the coolest part when we talk about Gen AI, to understand, and I'm going to do kind of fast, how models work, because it's super interesting to see, hey, what is happening here? So at the end of the day, and remember, this all started on Attention is All You Need paper on 2017 by Google. The paper was going around for years until our friends from OpenAI, they add a little extra secret sauce, and November 30, 2022, they put ChatGPT on the world and broke everything. People started to interact with the chat that really sounds human. You started to talk, to text first, now you are talking, but to text with the chat and really have cool answers, and it have the feeling that it's really, really good. But behind this, literally what we have is this. We have a model. Let's talk about GPT mostly, because those are the ones that we mostly use here, but think about the Llama model or all of the models that we have. And the way that it works is they have an input and they have an output. So we provide an input, and then they are going to complete. They are going to, based on the input that we provide, they are going to add the extra word, and it's going to another and another, and this is what they do. They basically are doing completion. But we don't talk about words here. We talk about tokens, and this is important, because even a token and a word that are very similar is not the same. And it's important because this is what we use to pay. When we use a model, in example, in Azure AI, we usually have the prices based on the input tokens and the output token. But remember this, what the model is going to do is literally going to try to complete and generate the next token. So we are going to give a sentence or a word or something, which is going to be split on n tokens. You're going to have these tokens, and the model is going to try to generate the next token. What is cool about this is that, oh my God, now I am going to do a pause here. I have here one of the creator of this slide, which is Aika. And why did you choose this anthropomorph? I can't even say the word in Spanish, but this is an idea. In example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 letters here, 6 words here, but when we tokenize this sentence, you can see that we have a lot of different stuff here. This is one token, one word, one token, one word, but anthropo something, not going to say this one, is literally 3. Then ChatGPT also have 3 here. So this is how tokens works. And by the way, if you want to take a look at this, how it works, if you go to platform openai.com/tokenizer, we also have something similar around in Azure Learn that explain this, but this is how it works. So when we provide this input to a model, it's going to perform the split on the tokens, and it's going to try to generate the next one. So at the end, the next one is going to be icing. I can say that, not the first part. But what is interesting here is that if you put this on a chain, if you put this on a loop, you have the feeling that you are talking. You have the feeling that you are chatting, because it's going to generate the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. And you can see here how when we start to interact with the chat model, this is what is going to happen. So we are going to have the completion here. And by the way, this is an example. If we add right now at any model, and we write, we need to, and wait for the answer, it could be anything. But keep in mind that this is an example. Another part which is important is that when it generates the next token, what we have there is also a probability of the token. So we can go for the highest rate probability, which is going to be icing. But if we make some changes here and there, okay, don't give me the most likable one. Be more creative. An example is going to start to suggest other things. So this is the moment when we start to play with models, and please let us know in the chat if you play around with models to see how they can become more creative or not. What we are basically doing is asking the model, when defining that, hey, when you generate the next token, don't give me the most amazing, most probable token, give me the other one. And I see that Scott here is teasing me because I can even pronounce this in Spanish. I don't know if that's Turkish or something else. I am not going to be able to pronounce this, or maybe this is the way to pronounce this, but hey, I can't. But no, going back here, you can define the next generated token. Also, you can tweak there. So that's how you start to work around and define if the model you want to become more creative or more. And this is all amazing because it's not the only thing that it does, but at the end of the day, this is what is happening with these generative models. They are just generating the next token. What's happened here? When we put them all in a chain, when we put them that, hey, give me A, B, C, and D, is going to generate E, F, G, H. So you have the feeling that you are talking. Based on that, OpenAI generating a definition how a chat should work. So now we can have history. So the moment the model can understand what we talked before, what we are talking now, so it's going to answer questions. We can have the chance to add information from external data sources like documents or more. So it's a whole growing ecosystem. But at the end of the day, I mean, I like this sentence, but it's so unfair because it's happened a lot. But yes, it's the only thing it does. What do you think here, Eka? And by the way, kudos to you and the AI team because you created all of this content and it's amazing. But any thoughts on this?
That's intentional, actually, just to show how indexing and embedding generation works, because it's not word by word. We are actually chunking even the longer word into multiple pieces. But it wasn't intentional that it is hard to pronounce. It's even hard for me to pronounce too.
Yes, and hey, we have here, and we are going to talk a little about Manasi say that when you start to play around with multimodal, yes, you start to change, you start to compare models here and there. We have the tools to do that. You can even do that, and we are going to talk about this later, for free with GitHub models, in example, where you can use the same prompt in two models and start to see the difference. So yes, I don't know, I like it. This is a super exciting time. But okay, let's take a look. So let's take a look how we can start to build applications using large language models. So let me hide this one here. And what I have here, this is AI Foundry. This is, if you go to ai.azure.com, this is what we saw before, but this is the entry point to everything that we want to do. So AI Foundry, if you want to do AI, mostly at enterprise level. If you want to have everything that we talk, this is when you can start. And you can start with you need an Azure subscription. You can get one for free. We talk about this, and we have tons of other sessions here where we can where we explain how to do that. But when we are inside, we have a couple of things. So we have a catalog of model. We are going to talk about this later. And I have here what we are going to focus more, playgrounds. So we have a chat playground, we have a speech playground, assistant playground, real-time audio, image playground, and more. And in the chat playground, what we have when we are users is the chance to choose one of the models that we have deployed. You can see here that I have several models deployed. I don't know whether I have two GPT 3.5 Turbo deployed. I don't know. Maybe I deployed whatever. Hey, and we also have here our friends from DeepSeek. It's also available in Azure AI Foundry. If you want to test it, and everybody's talking about DeepSeek, we also have DeepSeek here if you want to test it and more. But the whole idea here in the chat playground, if you are new to this, is that you're going to start to talk with the model. So in example, I can ask questions like, let me see, how is the weather in Toronto? So let's do a super crappy. And remember, this is just, let me go for a GPT-4o model. So this is just a question for the model, how is the weather in Toronto? And the model is not connected to anything. So it's going to say something like, hey, I am not going to be able to provide a response because I don't have a weather information and more. And this makes sense because the model is not connected. Remember, the model is just generating the next token. So it's basically completing my sentence and making sense that this is a conversation, so I need to reply this. But what we can do, and I like this, is that we can play around with some parameters here. So I can play around, in example, if I have the parameter, remember when we talk about how creative the model should be? So we have the temperature. The temperature is a value between 0 and 1, that 0 to 100, if you want to think, that basically define how creative the model should be. The same with top priority. And we can define how many tokens we want to use for the response, for the input. So we can play around with a lot of things. But because we are using this chat interaction, we are using this chat format, we can also define how the model should behave. So I can say here, you are an existing AI, you're an AI assistant that helps you people for information. You always replies using emojis, but that's jokes. Yes, I know. We are not supposed to do this. So I can apply the changes. It's going to say that yes, so I have this. And if I ask the question again, let me clean the chat. And if I had the question, how is the weather in Toronto? What we are going to have is, hey, I can check the weather, but I can give you a joke. What did the Okay, I am not going to read the joke. You know me, they are very bad. I am very bad with jokes also. But we can define how the model should behave. What I really like for this, when we start to work with models, is that we can even generate a prompt. We can even generate the system message that is going to define how the model should behave. So what we are doing here is I'm going to ask to generate a system prompt that is going to basically, you are a grumpy assistant that only answers questions related to football, to soccer. Football for the rest of the world, soccer for North America. So it generates here a very nice system prompt. And let's take a look at the system prompt. So the system prompt is going to say, hey, you're an assistant that's only responding in grumpy tone. If the question is not related to football, do something, keep the responses short, avoid being rude or offensive, but be grouchy here. But this also add a couple of things here. So add guidelines, and this is important. The models know how to talk with models. So it's realized that, hey, if I add these guideline sections, it's going to be better for the model. Also add tone and style. We want a grumpy model. So there it is, the explanation of a grumpy model. The output format. Also add some example. This is a technique that is called few-shot learning, where we provide a model some basically few-shot learning, a very small set of samples that the model is going to use to define the behavior. And at the end, it usually have some notes. Do not break characters and avoid long detailing conversations. So if I go back here and apply the changes, let's try one more time with how is the weather in Toronto. What we are going to have, not my problem, as someone else, stick to football. So will you? So we can do a lot. And by the way, everything that we are doing here, we can literally start to code here. We can start to use C#, Python, JavaScript, or more. We can connect to this model. We can define this. We have tons of data and samples and we can do plenty of things. And what I really like about this is, as an example, when you write your code to do chat, and this is just one of the thousands of things that we can do. If you want to change your model to not be a GPT-4o, to be a DeepSeek 1, in example, you just change the name of the model, and that's it. There it is. Now it's cleaned everything because this is a different model, and I think it's also in a different region. But you can basically use the same SDK to interact with tons of different models. And this is basically how you can do with models, how you can pronounce. And again, if we want to talk about safe and security, this is the tooling part. We maybe want to see this later and more. We don't have time for everything, but really, I want everybody to keep in mind that models are just completing the next sentence. What we see here is usually a chat version of a model because it's kind of natural, but at the same time, you can define how you interact with this model using chat or even using audio. So let me share a super quick, before going back to the slides, let me share a super quick demo of how we do audio. Audio playground, so first of all, let me know if you can hear the audio. Audio playground, where we can literally interact in real time, in this case with the GPT-4o model, and it works very, very nice. So in example, let's start listening let's start having a conversation with the model. So we can say something, hello, this is Bruno. I have a couple of questions about Toronto. I'm here and I want to see what is cool to see here.
Hello, Bruno. Welcome to Toronto. That's awesome that you're here. There are plenty of cool things to see and do. You might want to check out.
And hey, this is great, but if I want the assistant who has an amazing backend with the GPT-4 model to interact with only do something, I can help, and I can use here another assistant that is going to generate a prompt to interact with a grumpy assistant that only answers a question about soccer. This one is going to generate a full prompt here where we are going to see the main instructions here for the model, a couple of tips for interactions, the expected output format, and also a few shot learning with a couple of samples, like the user input. How are you today? I'm here in Toronto and I have a couple of questions about the city.
I only talk about soccer.
Okay, so but can you help me to know what is cool to see here in Toronto?
Not my area.
Okay, let's switch to a soccer question. An example: who is the best soccer player in history? Hey, this is just a sample, but what we saw is that, in example, the same rules that we apply to a text-based model like a GPT-4o or DeepSeek or GPT 3.5 or Llama or whatever also applies, in example, to a real-time audio model. So we can do a lot with a lot of this. So going back to the slides, what we saw here is that, hey, we can play around with the system prompt. We can play around defining how the model should behave, changing the temperature, priority, or more. The full flow is something like this. And again, this is kind of a very short version. We can do much more, but you define a system message. So you define how the model should behave. You define the parameters, how creative the model should work or not. And then you start to chat with this, and hey, you have the response. With all of this, we can do amazing things. And I saw a lot of questions. I'm going to go back to the chat anytime soon. Thanks for the comments and for interaction. But this is what we really want to show, because it's kind of amazing that right now we can do this. 2 years ago, it was kind of crazy, but it's even getting crazier because we have a lot of models. Yes, Aiga?
Yes, for sure. And there are a lot of questions in chat actually. So, which model to choose, which model to use is basically one of the questions in the chat as well.
Okay, do you want me to share your screen? Because this is also an interesting part, how
Yeah.
you can use these platforms to basically choose a model. Should I go back to you and show the
Yeah.
GitHub models?
Let's do it. Yes. So, GitHub Marketplace is actually another space where you can test out all of these models. AI Foundry is one of the places where you can test this. And also, there is an option to deploy your app. If you design it in the AI Foundry, you can deploy to a web app or you can deploy to Copilot Studio right away. But here in the GitHub Marketplace, there's a pre-marketplace where you can choose models, and you will be able to test out models for free for basically a couple of tokens. So here there was one question in chat: if SLM is dead, if why you're not using SLM is going nowhere. We can definitely use SLM for our scenarios too. It depends on which scenario you want to go for. But here in this demo, let's start with OpenAI GPT-4o Mini for my scenario. It's not a complex scenario. I just want to show you how you can actually leverage the GitHub model playground. So just like Bruno did in AI Foundry, I want to put a system prompt here, which is a bit funny and not super serious, but you're a grumpy assistant only answering questions about rubber ducks. And when I say hi, then I'm assuming that my model will reply a bit grumpy and also will ask me to ask about rubber ducks mostly. Do you have a question about rubber ducks? So if I ask like, how is the weather? Then I'm assuming it will get really angry. So I don't know about the weather. And if I ask, what is your favorite? But it says that I don't have favorites, but rubber ducks come in all sorts of colors and styles. So it understands that I'm asking about rubber duck. The behavior may differ between the models. For example, instead of using OpenAI, we can use another model like Mistral Large, and we can test out the same prompt here and see the behavioral changes. I'll try to ask similar questions here and see the result by comparison. These platforms are really great to see which model is the best for you, for your system prompt, for the tokens you need, for all of the setup you need, and see that, if this model is good for your setup, then you can actually bring it into your app. I can again ask about what is the weather like. this model is definitely more rude, first of all. So I get a really long and angry answers. I'll also go ahead and ask, what is your favorite? And I'm assuming now it will answer, I just know about rubber ducks now. This model is definitely so angry with me, but you get the point that each model will give you different benefits for your own scenario. You can basically use these playgrounds to understand how model works and if it is beneficial for you. Once you decide that this model is best for my scenario, you can hit use this model and see that there are a bunch of language choices available. We can actually use the SDK we want and see how we can actually bring this model into our environment, our app. You can either choose the Mistral AI SDK or Azure AI Inference SDK, and you can choose the model you want, and you will see that the guidance here will change accordingly. You can use your personal access token on GitHub, or you can use Azure AI services pay as you go here. And this is the place where you can get step-by-step guidance, how you can install dependencies, run the basic code sample, and explore more samples to understand how model actually works. And finally, you can add more capabilities in your model, like streaming, etc., and understanding the rate limits a little bit. For you to understand the AI inference SDK a little bit, I also have another demo for you. This is actually available in our repo for this session, AI to Generative AI in Azure session. If you quickly go to GitHub models section in session delivery resources, you'll be able to find out this demo right away. We have a video in the demo section. We have a insurance claim video recorded by a person, let's say, and we're going to use a model to capture this video and basically divide this into a piece of frames, images, so that we will create a insurance claim report. So that's the reason why we're going to use the AI model here, and we have a Jupyter notebook here to go ahead and test this out quickly. So first, in the inference SDK, I will just run and get the dependencies. And the second, we will create 14 different frames, meaning that 14 different images in our frames folder. And as you can see, it's now generated. And we had different images from the video to capture what are the issues in the car. And then next, we will hit our endpoint, and we will actually, as you can see here, we will generate the claim report. And in the first section 1, we need license plate, car make, car model, all of these details. Section 2, we need car damage, per damage in a list. And section 3, we need exactly 6-sentence description of the car damage. So all of these will be created by our model GPT-4o Mini. And if you scroll down, you can see that the incident report is created by our model. So the playground is basically for us to test out everything about the model and understand how the settings work, if this is helpful for us. And when it comes to using these models in our own application, then we would need some of the SDKs like AI Inference SDK, for example, to bring them into our own space in our own production-ready scenario. So yeah, so this is what I wanted to show. Quickly handing back to Bruno. We have a couple more minutes left and some more cool demos to share.
Yes, hey, this is amazing. And by the way, I love this demo. I use this demo a lot because this is literally putting image recognition or image analysis or more on the next level. What's happened here is that based on the set of images that we will provide to the model, and by the way, you can run this using GitHub models. Like I said, it's easy. It's going to try to understand the context and it's going to give this information. But you can do more. Like an example, give me this in JSON format. So it's going to generate the JSON. Give me this in different languages. You're going to have the whole car insurance demo running in 2 languages with the output in English and Spanish and French and more. And at the end of the day, what you are doing there, and this is to answer a couple of questions that you have in the chat, you are basically doing programming, but using natural language. You are programming in English. You are telling the model to do something for you. So if you really learn how to prompt, if you really learn how to do these kind of things, you are going to have amazing tools going to you. There was another question. Let me go back here around evaluation. So how we can evaluate the model. And yes, this is part, and before moving to the next topic, 2 minutes here, this is part of the set of tools that we have. So I don't have any evaluation here created, but one of the tools that we have, as you can see here, part of AI Foundry, is evaluation, where you can create automated evaluation that you can run from time to time. You can create a set of manual evaluation where you can provide a set of inputs and outputs, the model you want to test, and you can see the model that you want to test with the temperature, the response, and more, and you have the output here, and you can automate all of this. You can even, if you have your model connected to your data, and this is a full set of other, if we start here, we are not going to end, but you can connect the model to your data so you can start to do more. You can run this evaluation. So this is super important to evaluate your model. I also was sharing there, if you want to take a look, there is an extension for Visual Studio Code. It's called AI Toolkit that also allows you to run evaluation, and it's mostly focused on models that you want to start locally and then move to the cloud. But there are different ways that we can do evaluation, and this is important. The other topic that we want to talk is that, yes, I don't want to say, is the safe and when we talk about responsible AI tooling, we have here the content filter. And as we saw earlier, this is one of the tools that we have, and it's very, very basic, but it's super powerful. So we are going to define, select the connection, one sample connection. We are going to define a set of input and output filters, and these filters are going to be based on categories. So violence, hate, sexual, self-harms, and more. I can define how they're going to, what is the threshold to block low, to block everything. Is going to be applied also multimodal in text and images. So we're going to apply there. And we also have, and this is important, we also have jailbreaks attacks. If someone wants to hack a model, because this runs in the input and the output, it's going to detect the jailbreak intention and it's going to filter that and trigger a warning and more. We can apply, and we have a block list, and we can do several things. We have also an output material. We can see here that we have some protected material for text, protected material for code, if you are using a mode to generate code, to edit code, and more. And when we have this, the whole idea is I can apply this to one of my models. So I can define a custom content filter and apply to one of the models that I'm going to later be going to use in my application. And hey, this is going to basically give us an extra set of tools to have much more powerful models there when we can filter inputs, outputs, and more. So going back here, going back to what we are talking, let's talk a little about what is coming next. And no surprises here. We are going to talk about agents because everybody's talking about agents. And I think it was 3 weeks ago, our friends from OpenAI, they released the operator, which is basically an agent that can interact with your browser and do a lot of stuff. Last week or a couple of days ago, they launched the deep research, which is another agent, autonomous agent that is going to help you to analyze the web for a topic and create deep research. We don't have a lot of time to go deep here, but we want to share that we have tools in Azure to create agents. So you can create your agent. And the key words here is it needs to be autonomous, it needs to run by its own, but it's also going to use a large language model, and it's going to basically provide an interface with this natural language that we all like, but it's also going to be able to connect to external systems like your data, a file system, a web search, interact with whatever and more. So this is something that we really, really want to have here. And let me show you 2 samples here. First of all, we have, let me go back to my slide here. We have, as we say at the beginning, let me go to one of the hubs that I have here. In the playground, it's taking some time. Let me go back here. We have an assistant playground. And the assistant playground, with what we have here, is we can define an ID for the system, a name, which is the model that is going to use, and also we can define the instructions. And here, we can also add the chance to, add a file search, and we can connect this search to a vector store. This vector store can be maybe Azure AI Search or Quadrant on Pinecone. any vector store that you want. So the assistant is going to also have this. You can also add a code interpreter here, which is also super cool and fun if you want to do some data analysis and more, because the models are good, but when you ask the model, in example, to solve a math problem, sometimes the model gets stuck. So what we are doing right now is the model is smart enough to understand, oh, this is a math problem. So instead of trying to complete my next token and solve the math problem, what I am going to do, I am going to generate code, usually Python code, that is going to solve the problem, run the code, and then get the output of the code, which is 99, maybe 100% of the time, the right answer there. So we have all of these tools. So what I want to show you here, because we don't have time to do everything, let me show you an example of this. So I'm going to go to my resource group, and here I have one of the demos, which is the creative writer. So this is a full set scenario. This is open source. I will share the link in the chat if you want. So this is a full set scenario where we have a front end, and let me open the front end of a creative writer. And the creative writer uses 3 agents internally. It uses a researcher, it uses a marketing product specialist, a writer, I'm sorry, there are 4, a writer and also an editor. And the way that this is going to work is we are going to ask the researcher to search online for a topic. Then the writer is going to get the output from the researcher that found 3, 4, 10, whatever found online, and is going to write a story using some information. At the same time, the marketing team will going to say, hey, we have products that may fit in that story, so also use them in your story. And at the end, we're going to have an editor that is going to validate this. So let me find, I lost my notes here, and let me find the template of where are my researcher. But okay, let's copy this if we want. And let's give this a try. And this is the input that we have. Can you find the camping trends in 2024 and what folk are doing this winter? Use a selection of trends, and the writer funnel and engage in articles that include the research and more. So let's run this and let's see how it's going to do. First of all, the researcher is going to search online. And by the way, there it is. So it's doing some search online. So found 2 for camping trends, found 2 for winter camping trends and more. So this is the researcher information that we have here. So this is an agent that found some information. The next step, we'll try to see, hey, oh my God, getting a lot of info. So getting information from camping tents, from our result. If we are working in a company that sells camping products, that probably makes sense. So the marketing agent found some products. So now the writer writes the story and discover the hottest campaign, write the story about the hottest campaign. And then at the end, we are going to have the editor. So the editor is going to say, hey, there is some review here. And the editor have some specific instructions. So you need to have clarity, you need to have use transitional phases, and consistency and more. So with this, the editor give back this to the writer. The writer is going to write a new story, and we are going to have a back and forward between the editor. I think we defined that it's going to happen 10 times maybe, and that is going to give us. But this is a write. Okay, it's starting to write. Yes, it's it's approved. So the editor say we are fine. We can move forward. But I hope that it makes sense, because this is really what we want to share and show with you, that we have this chance, we have this tool to basically create agents. This is a set of agents talking between each other. And I know that we have 4 more minutes. And I don't know if you have any last minute question. In the meantime, let me share this QR where you can start to take a look at everything that we are doing, the next sessions and more. And I don't know.
In the meantime, maybe I can announce a couple of things. So, first of all, if we couldn't answer your question in the chat, tomorrow, actually in Azure AI Discord channel, we are hosting a Q&A session. Me and Bruno will be there to answer your questions. Don't miss that session. If you have more questions, we will be answering your question particularly. So there won't be any presentation. It will be only for Q&A. So if you're willing to discuss some of the specific parts of what we just talked about, please join our Discord session too. Second of all, and the most exciting one, Cloud Skills Challenge is starting now, today. So if you go to ak.ms/generative AI level up Tuesdays -blog, you will find out all the information about the Discord channel Q&A or the Cloud Skills Challenge. But we definitely encourage you to join the Microsoft Learn Challenge. And if you're interested in diving deeper and learn more, I think those challenges are the best to understand deeper what we are just talking about, basically going hands-on to test out yourself, etc. So that's the second thing I wanted to announce. And finally, don't miss out other sessions in Level Up Tuesdays. There will be more coming right after us, week by week. So you will be diving deeper into the world of generative AI. Okay, so more questions. If there are a little bit more questions, we can answer. We have 3 minutes left for now.
Yes, no, I saw a lot of people saying thanks. No, it's a pleasure. As you see, we really like this. We really are passionate about this. We are building a lot of things with this, so please give it a try. As we said, you just need a GitHub account and you can test using GitHub models. If you want to go a little up, you can also go to Azure, test the same model there. I saw there was a couple of amazing questions around small language models and large language models. Happy to talk more tomorrow in the office hours there. No, I think we are there. And I saw some question around certifications around the after the I don't know. There is a lot to do, but let me pick one, a random one. So this one. That's an easy one. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Can developers use these services through APIs to develop application? Yes, that's the whole idea. If you want to run your own application, if you want to add some AI capabilities to your application, or if you want to build your application, we have the APIs. The APIs are there. We have also a lot of best practices about how we can use the APIs. And later is your language of choice. If you want to do JavaScript, Python, C#, Java, whatever, or if you even want to use a low-code application that have the feature and capabilities to call an API, you can even do that one there. So yes, we have this. Aika, I don't know. You want to add something for this one?
No, not really. We have 1 minute left and I'm stressing out. So if you have more questions, join us tomorrow in our Q&A session. We have more time to talk about all these in detail. So don't miss the chance to ask your questions tomorrow in the Discord channel. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Bruno.
Say Aika. Goodbye.
Bye.